In a forest, a beautiful girl's silhouette appeared. She paused for a moment. She was wearing a high school uniform, her face glowing with anticipation, on a bustling street crowded with people. A striking girl walked through the crowd, effortlessly drawing everyone's attention. Suddenly her phone rang. It was from a contact she had saved as "that jerk." Though annoyed, she had to play nice since it was her boss. She softened her voice and answered, "Yes, sir, I'm already on site. I'll bring the deceased up in 2 minutes," and so on. As soon as she hung up, she groaned in frustration. "He dumps all his work on me, and he still won't shut up." You see, she was a Grim Reaper, and this was actually supposed to be her job. Still fuming, she muttered to herself, "Whatever, I just need to get through this one last time." Suddenly, her gaze drifted into the distance. As a memory from the past surfaced, a warm voice called out to her, "Ina, if you could be born again, what would you want to be?" She had hesitated back then. "I think I would." Snapping back to reality, she shook her head. "Never mind, I'll think about that later. Let's just get today's job done first." Ina pulled a death record from her pocket. Yeon Ha-jin, cause of death traffic accident. She locked her eyes on her target across the street. So it's this kid today, Yeon Ha-jin. It's a shame he has to die so young, but fate is just fate. Yeon Ha-jin was 17 years old, attending high school in South Korea. Because he was always so earnest and kind, everyone loved him. Sure, he had his rebellious phase during puberty like anyone else. But before long, he had grown into a mature, responsible high schooler. Ina noticed that the time had come. As the crosswalk light turned green, the countdown to Ha-jin's death began. A massive truck blew past the signal, speeding recklessly toward the crossing, catching the boy completely off guard. As the timer hit 0, it seemed certain that he was dead. But what happened next left Ina in absolute shock. Out of nowhere, a young girl caught the speeding truck and lifted it with her bare hands. And then she just set it down gently on the road. The girl simply walked past Ina, leaving her dumbfounded. Ina's brain totally short-circuited. She spun around to stare at the girl. What on earth just happened? Did that tiny kid really just lift a whole truck? Is she even human? Her eyes instinctively darted back, down to Yeon Ha-jin's death record, only to realize that the text was shifting. The cause of death. It actually changed. Now as the boy walked past an apartment building, a heavy potted plant plummeted from the balcony above, heading straight for him. He was just seconds away from dying by a flower pot crashing onto his head. But then it happened again. She shattered the pot with a baseball, saving him from the jaws of death for a second time. In-Ah, who had been tailing them this whole time, was completely in shock after witnessing it once more. Is that girl really human? Honestly, even for a Grim Reaper like her, this was a first. It even seemed like she could sense her presence, which made her incredibly suspicious. Didn't we just make eye contact back there? And once again, the list has changed. I absolutely despise it when my work hits a snag. In-Ah trailed Ha-jin all the way to his school. Peeking into the classroom from the outside, she spotted that girl, sure enough, still hovering around. To make sure things went smoothly, she decided to pull a little trick. She manifested a chain completely invisible to the human eye and wrapped it tightly around the girl's hands. Staring at the chains binding her wrists, a dark, ominous glint flashed in her eyes. In-Ah gleefully muttered to herself, "She won't be able to move for a while. I'll let her go once John Ha-jin is dead." Those chains made her heart race with a heavy sense of anxiety. Turning around, she realized Ha-jin had already left the classroom. He was heading straight for the stairs. This time, his cause of death was supposed to be a fatal fall down the stairs, dying from a severe concussion. This time, it absolutely has to go according to the list. If I fail this mission, my boss is definitely going to kill me. So please, just die already. Right on cue, his body swayed as he stumbled toward the edge of the stairs, bringing a massive grin to her face. But that smile instantly vanished, because that girl had somehow broken free from the chains and successfully saved him yet again. Only this time she caught him in a full-on Princess Carry. In-Ah was completely dumbfounded by everything that was happening. The moment Ha-jin was set back on his feet, he grabbed her by the shoulders and poured his heart out in gratitude. "You totally saved my life just now. Seriously, thank you so much. What is your name?" Being asked her name by her crush, her face immediately flushed bright red. I am Yeho. After thanking her, he quickly hurried off. It finally clicked for In-A-O, so that is how it is. The reason she keeps getting in my way is because of him. Wait, is she looking right at me? A normal human should not be able to see me. Suddenly, Yeho called out, "Hey, you! You have been following me around all day. Just who exactly are you?" She never expected that someone could actually see her, huh? Is she looking at me right now? How could a normal human possibly do that? She seemed to have noticed something. Wait a minute. What is that? Is that a marble? While she was still curious, Aho suddenly grabbed her and threw her so hard that the impact echoed through the blue sky. Once she calmed down, she was completely stunned. Huh. Hey, I didn't mean to throw you that hard. You were coming at me so aggressively, so I just reacted. Hey, are you dead? Suddenly, Ina let out a maniacal laugh. It made her panic, afraid Ina was having a seizure. What do? I must have hit her head way too hard. Blood was dripping from her mouth. Yet she still smiled and sighed in relief. Oh, thank goodness, you are not a human, are you? Article 1 of the Underworld Law Grim Reapers are forbidden from harming humans. But you are not a human, which makes dealing with this so much easier. Aho was about to run away when she suddenly froze, because chains had already tightly bound her legs, coiling around her like a clinging snake. NH took that chance to appear right behind her and struck her with all her might. Down in the cafeteria, Ha-jin was picking out his food when he heard a strange sound. What was that noise? A whole afternoon had passed. Aho was beaten to a pulp, covered in injuries. But In-Ah did not look much better either. Sigh, I have been suffering all day because of you. My work is piling up. My boss keeps rushing me. My head hurts so much it feels like it is going to explode. Why do you even bother going through all this trouble just to protect John Ha-jin? That question made her pause and think. Why protect him? Suddenly, her eyes drifted toward the forest, and she subconsciously recalled all the happy memories they shared together. So without a single moment of hesitation, she knocked the sword right out of Ina's hand. Aho slowly stood up and scoffed. You are incredibly unlucky. Of all the places you could have thrown me, you just had to throw me right into this forest. Instantly, the surrounding trees wrapped tightly around Ina, and she desperately tried to break free. Wait, hold on a second. Having finally dealt with In-Ah, Aho quickly rushed back to the classroom. Her eyes were filled with the eager anticipation of seeing Ha-jin again. But there was absolutely no one left in the room. Her heart sank. Well, that makes sense. School is already over, so Ha-jin must have gone home by now. Suddenly, someone pressed a cold bottle of water against her cheek. Ha-jin popped his head out, looking worried. Where did you go? Everyone was so worried about you. She was surprised to see him still in class. Why haven't you gone home yet? He explained. I was about to leave, but then I saw you. Let me see your hand. He handed Ah-ho a bunch of snacks to show his gratitude. Thanks for saving me on the stairs earlier. Receiving a gift from her crush made her ears turn bright red. She shyly accepted it. I'll enjoy these. Suddenly, Ha-jin noticed a scrape on her cheek and leaned in closely. Hey, Ah-ho, what happened to your cheek? Are you hurt? She quickly denied it. Oh, it's nothing. I probably just scraped it somewhere. He started rummaging through his bag. Wait a sec. Then he pulled out a tube of ointment and a Band-Aid. She took it from him. Thanks. She was a little curious. Do you always carry medical supplies with you? He explained. I used to get hurt a lot in the past. I'm fine now, but it became a habit, so I still carry them around. Ha-jin looked around and noticed that there wasn't a mirror in the classroom, so he offered to apply the ointment for her. Come closer, I'll put it on for you. As their eyes met, he suddenly realized something. Looking this closely, her eyes looked so similar. They really looked like that person's eyes. The sky gradually shifted into a deep twilight. Having found Ah-ho to thank her, he headed home first. Get home safely. See you tomorrow at school. Blushing, she waved goodbye. Her gaze lingered intently on his back. Then she unconsciously recalled a distant memory. Back then, she had gently comforted a crying Ha-jin. Don't. Please, don't cry, Ha-jin. Why are you crying? We finally made it outside. He had been utterly heartbroken. But what if I leave this place? She held his hands to comfort him. Stop crying. I told you it's going to be okay. Even if you end up forgetting me, I will always remember you. Even now, those memories were completely unforgettable. Meanwhile, In-Ah's superior was calling her again. It made her so furious that she shattered the ground beneath her. But when she answered, her tone was extremely cautious. "Hello, I'm sorry, not yet. Yes, sir. Senior, could you give me a 1-week extension? I promise I will catch him within a week. Hello, I'm Aho. The weather is so beautiful today, and I'm in a great mood too. This is the third happiest day of my life." Because today, the moment she walked into class, Hajin initiated a greeting. "Oh, you're here early." She sat down beside him and nodded. "Yeah, you're early too, huh? It's pretty normal for me. I usually get here about an hour early." Just talking to him made her heart race with excitement. "We're actually talking. I get to sit at the same desk as Hajin. I used to just hover around him without being able to say a single word. But lately we've been chatting a bit and even greeting each other. Well, I guess it's all thanks to that girl. I wonder how she's doing now. It's not like I laid a hand on her, but after what happened, she's probably done for." Suddenly, the classroom burst into a commotion. "Huh, what's going on? Did she come in with the teacher?" The teacher walked in and immediately told the class, "All right, everyone, please take your seats." Her eyes instantly darkened when she saw In-Ah enter the classroom. "We have a transfer student joining our class today." At that moment, Ah-ho felt a pang of regret. "I knew it. I should have just eliminated her back then." In-Ah walked right up and greeted her. "Hi, I'm still not familiar with the school layout, so if you don't mind, could you show me around a bit?" Hajin never expected the transfer student to ask for him specifically. "Me," she confirmed it once more. "Yeah, you." Meanwhile, Ah-ho couldn't stop glaring at In-Ah as if to warn her. But In-Ah didn't care and kept asking Hajin, "I heard you're the class rep. Are you busy right now?" Since a classmate was asking, he had no choice but to agree. "No, I'm not busy. I can show you around right now." Ah-ho was fuming inside. As soon as they got down to the schoolyard, the other students were already staring at him in curiosity. "Who's that? She's so pretty. I heard she's the new transfer student. Is she Hajin's girlfriend? With those good looks, they make such a cute couple standing next to each other. For real, if those two actually dated, it'd be a feast for the eyes." Ah-ho heard every single word. The freezing aura radiating from her gave the other students goosebumps. "Ugh, why did it suddenly get so cold?" "Yeah, you're right. Let's just go inside." The two of them continued their walk. He showed her around from one place to another. "Over there is the storage room and the gym. And this is the cafeteria. Over there is—" Everywhere they went, Ah-ho stuck to them like glue. Her eyes wavered as she watched the two of them. She suddenly remembered what the students had just said. Hajin's girlfriend. With those good looks, they make such a cute couple standing next to each other. If those two actually dated, it'd be a feast for the eyes. Hajin finally returned after giving In-Ah a tour of the school. His classmates suddenly got all rowdy. "Look, he's here. I heard everything. Word is you went on a date with the pretty new girl." He couldn't understand why Seo Ji-ho was being such a gossip. He quickly cleared things up. "It wasn't a date. I was just showing her around the school." "Are you kidding me? She turned down all the other guys and specifically asked you to show her around. Didn't you notice? She's definitely into you." Ha-jin instantly denied it. "No way, you've got it all wrong." But Ji-ho stubbornly refused to believe him. "That's ridiculous. Is there anything else?" But he had nothing more to explain. "I told you there's absolutely nothing going on. Oh, right, I'm having lunch with In-Ah today." Ah-ho, who was pretending to sleep, flinched when she heard that. Even Ji-ho was completely shocked. "Wait, what? Just the two of you having lunch together, and you're still saying there's nothing going on?" Hajin repeated himself in frustration. "I told you it's not like that. We just made plans for today." Seeing that nothing was actually happening, Ji-ho was incredibly disappointed. "Hajin, man, this is exactly why you're still single." Just as he managed to escape Ji-ho and sit down at his desk, Ah-ho spoke up with a question. "Hajin, are you having lunch with In-Ah?" Confused, he confirmed it. "Yeah." This made her incredibly upset. "I see." Hajin suddenly noticed something. Ah-ho always ate lunch all by herself without any friends. So he took the initiative and invited her. "Ah-ho, do you want to eat with us?" That offer instantly cheered up her gloomy mood. Can I really?" And so he made the final call. "Let me go tell In-Ah that we're all eating together." After that, Ha-jin brought Ah-ho over to ask Inna, and so, is it okay if Ah-ho eats with us? Just a moment ago, the two girls were glaring daggers at each other, but Inna changed her expression in a flash and welcomed her warmly. Your name is Ah-ho. You look so cute. I hope we can be good friends. That sheer fakeness left Ah-ho in utter shock. Is she seriously trying to put on an act in front of me? Should I just kill her right now? If I had just killed her back then, I wouldn't have to deal with this. Right at that moment. Seeing that Ah-ho wasn't saying anything, he called out to her, Ah-ho! Meanwhile, Inna flashed a sly, arrogant smirk. It made her blood boil with pure anger. She fought back her disgust and played along. I'm looking forward to working with you too. She might have said that out loud, but inside she was screaming, in your dreams! The second I let my guard down, she's going to make a move on Ha-jin. Does she really think I'll just let that happen? Fine, bring it on. Right after they finished their meal, In-ah suggested, let's head over to the cafeteria. He quickly offered, my treat. In-ah was acting so perfectly normal that it made Ah-ho question her own sanity. Is she seriously not up to anything? She must be waiting to make her move at the cafeteria. Does she really think I'll let my guard down? As soon as they got to the cafeteria, In-ah brought something up. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you guys something. Are you two dating? I just assumed since you were having lunch together. I didn't want to be a third wheel if you guys were actually a couple. Ha-jin shut that down instantly. Me and Ah-ho, no way. Honestly, Ah-ho is more like my lifesaver. I wouldn't even dare to dream about something like that. Hearing this, Ah-ho felt totally torn. I'm so happy, but also so crushed. So that was it. The person she wanted to take out wasn't Ha-jin. It was me. As In-ah watched them, she noticed how incredibly close they were. She took a bite of her ice cream and smirked, clearly plotting something. So you guys really aren't dating, huh? Well, that makes things easy. Lately, a rumor had been spreading like wildfire through the freshman hallway. It got so crazy that a girl finally came right out and asked Ha-jin, who do you like more, In-ah or Ah-ho? The question caught him completely off guard. A bunch of guys from the Ah-ho fan club started shouting, it's obviously Ah-ho. If you look closely, she's actually super cute, plus she is completely devoted to Ha-jin. Another group of guys who were obsessed with In-ah immediately fought back. It has to be In-ah. Why would he like a girl who hides her face behind her bangs? In-ah is absolutely gorgeous, like a model. A cold beauty is the perfect match for a sweet guy like John Ha-jin. The two sides were going at it, but then they all suddenly turned to him. They demanded a final answer. So who do you actually like? He quickly tried to clear things up. No, hold on, you guys have it all wrong. Neither of them even likes me in the first place. Ah-ho is just the type to blush easily when she gets nervous. And In-ah barely talks to anyone anyway. She definitely has no interest in me. Besides, I already like someone else. Unfortunately, both girls happened to overhear that. Even he flinched when he realized it, especially since Ah-ho looked so completely heartbroken. Just then, a teacher walked in looking for Ha-jin. Class rep. Wait, what's with the tension in here? Were you guys fighting? Well, whatever's going on, I need two of you to come down to the faculty office and help me carry some documents and books. Being called out, he awkwardly stepped forward, glancing back at Ah-ho with a guilty look in his eyes. The teacher looked at the heavy pile of books and realized it was too much for Ha-jin alone. That's a bit too much for one person. Can anyone else lend a hand? Ah-ho and In-ah instantly shouted in unison, I'll do it. The teacher waved them off. I don't need both of you. Just play rock, paper, scissors to decide. I'm busy, so I'll head down first. So the two girls squared off for a game of rock, paper, scissors. One threw scissors and the other threw rock. But right at that second, someone completely crashed their game. Paper. Ji-ho had just swooped in and beaten them both. I win. Ah-ho was having none of it. That doesn't count. You totally jumped in out of nowhere. He completely brushed her off. A win is a win. What's your problem? Can you even carry anything with those scrawny arms of yours? Hearing that, In-ah flashed back to the time she saw Ah-ho single-handedly lifting a massive truck. She could literally lift an entire truck. She huffed in frustration. I can carry this much, no problem. But Ji-ho wouldn't back down. Yeah, but I won, so you just head back to class. Oh, by the way, you really overwhelmed Hajin today by coming on so strong. If you want to get close to him, at least trim those bangs. If you were neat and pretty like Ina, maybe you'd actually stand a chance. Overhearing this, Ina flared up. Hey, who gave you the right to judge someone's looks? You better apologize right now. But Aho was already so pissed off that she just straight up headbutted him, knocking Jiho out cold. Ina couldn't believe she actually just did that. You idiot mountain spirit, snap out of it. Are you trying to get exposed to humans? But Aho had her excuses. He was being a jerk, so my hand just slipped. Ina wasn't having any of it. If you're a mountain spirit, then act like one. Oh my god, this is a disaster. Don't just stand there, heal him already. Getting scolded like that, Aho could only begrudgingly obey. All right, I got it. When Jiho finally came to, he was completely dazed. He muttered to himself, What the why am I lying on the ground? By that point, the two girls had already scrambled into hiding. Once they were in the clear, Ina pinched Aho's cheek and scolded her. Just stop being a mountain spirit and become a Grim Reaper already. Knowing she'd messed up big time, Aho immediately apologized. I'm sorry I just lost control. I promise I'll be more careful from now on. Seeing her look so genuinely sorry, Ina couldn't help but let out a soft, warm smile. That gentle expression made Aho's eyes waver for a moment. As she stared at Ina's back, she seemed completely lost in her own complicated thoughts. Meanwhile, up on the rooftop, Jiho was telling Hajin all about what had just happened. So, I was heading to the faculty office, right? And then we played rock, paper, scissors, and my memory just goes blank after that. Hajin frowned. Did you hit your head on something? Jiho felt around his head but found nothing. That's the thing. There's not a single bump or bruise. You know what? Never mind. Let's drop it. Something tells me it's best if I don't try to remember. More importantly, who's the girl you've got a crush on? Hajin rolled his eyes, clearly annoyed by the question. Are you seriously asking me this too? Come on, don't you want to spill the beans? I'm just curious, man, especially since you've never even batted an eye at a pretty girl like Ina. Hajin didn't even hesitate. Nope, not even once. But Jiho wasn't letting it go. Okay then, what about Aho? Instead of answering, Hajin grabbed Jiho by the head and squeezed as a silent threat. Ow, okay, I'm sorry. Wait, so you really do have someone you like? At those words, Hajin's grip suddenly loosened. A bright red blush crept across his cheeks. That flushed face was all the proof Jiho needed. Wait, seriously, you, the guy whose romance cells haven't even evolved yet. Hajin raised a fist, ready to punch him. Do you have a death wish? Sighing in defeat, Hajin finally decided to tell him the story. Back in middle school, I got completely lost in the woods. There was this girl. She was the one who guided me out. It was pitch black and I was kind of out of it, so I couldn't see her face clearly. But man, I fell for her the second I saw her. I went back to that forest so many times after that, hoping to find her. But I never saw her again. Jiho shivered at the story. Dude, a dark forest at night. Are you sure she was human and not some ghost? Hajin scoffed defensively. She wasn't a ghost. Ghosts don't look that pretty. As he said that, Hajin looked up wistfully at the sky. His voice was heavy with longing. I wonder if I'll ever get to see her again. Just then, Aho suddenly popped up, calling out to Hajin. Her abrupt appearance practically made Hajin jump out of his skin. Whoa, what are you doing here? She just blankly passed on a message from the teacher. The homeroom teacher is looking for you, Hajin. Confused as to why he was being called Hajin, quickly got up. Oh, for real, I better head down there right now. Thanks for letting me know, Aho. With that, Hajin quickly bolted down the stairs, leaving Jiho sitting there feeling completely ditched and helpless. He turned his attention back to Aho. Hey, how much of that did you just overhear? But she looked totally clueless. I didn't hear anything. Watching her deadpan expression, Jiho figured she was probably telling the truth. Yeah, if she had heard the part about his first love, she definitely wouldn't be standing there with a blank face. Wait, is it just my imagination? My forehead seriously throbs every time I get near her. Meanwhile, down in the classroom, Ina was checking the board. She looked over the newly posted practical assessment roster, only to realize that she, Aho Hajin, and Jiho were all stuck together in the exact same group. She couldn't help but smirk. I see. My chance is finally here. After class ended, In-A returned to the office to practice. A junior came over to report. Senior, everything on the other side is finished. Hearing this, she felt relieved. Good work. Her junior suddenly glanced around in confusion. But this village is really strange. Out of all the places I've patrolled, this is the first time I've seen an area with so few demons. Just a few years ago, this used to be a major hotspot for demon attacks. Could there be an exorcist living in this village? Suddenly, In-A noticed Aho standing in front of a clothing store. She immediately excused herself. I'll head back first, the junior replied. Okay, get back safely, Senior. The junior couldn't help but wonder. Lately, it feels like Senior has softened up a bit. Or is it just my imagination? Inside the store, Aho was shopping for clothes for her meeting with Ha-Jin tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day I'm meeting Ha-Jin for our practical assessment. Of course, Seo-Ji-Ho and In-A will be there too, but it's been so long since I last saw Ha-Jin outside, so I'm feeling a little nervous. That's why I need to show up looking absolutely gorgeous. I have to wear my best outfit. However, her fashion sense was so bad that In-A just couldn't take it anymore. She angrily snapped, "Take that off right now." That made Aho shut up instantly. After putting together a few outfits for her, In-A murmured, it's not bad, but it looks like you're trying too hard. Ditch it. This one suits you, but it feels like something is missing. Try pairing this with this and sweep your hair to the side." When Inna finally realized what she was doing, she startled herself. Wait a minute, why am I even helping her with this? No way. If I walk next to someone dressed like a total weirdo, people will think I'm a weirdo too. It's not even my date. What am I doing here? Ugh, whatever. I'll just bear with it for today. Aho changed into the clothes and stepped out. Ta-da! How do I look? The outfit seemed to be very much to In-A's liking. At least you look decent now. Even so, Aho still felt her own choice was better. I still think the outfit I picked out was the prettiest. Luckily, she kept that thought from In-A. In-A even kindly offered to pay. Excuse me, I'll pay for this outfit. Right away, miss. Out of curiosity, In-A asked, by the way, do you even know how to pay for things? Aho confidently replied without hesitation, Of course I do. She then pulled something out from her sleeve. It turned out to be a wild ginseng root. This should be enough, right? In-A immediately smacked her on the head. She then walked over to the counter to pay for it herself. Aho genuinely couldn't understand why she just got hit. This is a wild mountain ginseng. It's a miracle cure for all diseases. Having just bought a brand new outfit for her date, Aho was in an incredibly good mood. Seeing the look on her face, In-A decided to be blunt. Do you really like Jeon Ha-Jin that much? It doesn't seem like he's interested in you at all. Those words were a direct hit to the heart. In-A voiced her honest thoughts. I seriously don't get you. He clearly already has someone else in his heart, yet you still refuse to give up. You're so weird. Aho immediately fired back. He just hasn't remembered me yet. One day he'll definitely remember who I am. Hearing that, Inna grew curious. Hasn't remembered you. Suddenly, something clicked in her mind. Ah, is this the missing section in Jeon Ha-Jin's Book of Life and Death? It seems like Ha-Jin was critically injured, but miraculously managed to recover. And then he left the forest. In finally pieced it all together. Because he doesn't remember anything, she's afraid that getting close would just cause a misunderstanding. That's why she only dares to watch him from afar. Thinking about it, In-A couldn't help but sigh. She really is pitiful. What's so great about a guy who can't even remember her? Will he ever even regain his memories of her? Especially when he's someone who could drop dead at any given moment. Even Aho had to agree with In-A's words. She's right, isn't she? He's going to disappear sooner or later anyway. It's so weird, I don't even know why I'm acting like this. He talks too much, smiles too much, and loves sticking his nose into other people's business. He's exactly the kind of guy who just exhausts you. I'm the only one here who looks like a total idiot. I have somewhere to be, so I'll head out first. Thanks for today. I'll see you tomorrow. In-A's gaze unconsciously lingered on her retreating back. She watched until Aho completely disappeared from sight. Then In-A finally let herself think. Well, that was unexpected. I totally thought she'd blow up at me. Looking at people who know damn well they're going to get hurt, yet still blindly rush in. Sometimes it disgusts me, but other times I feel a little jealous because I could never do the same. When Ina finally returned home, she opened her coffin once again. Staring down at her own lifeless corpse, she couldn't help but wonder, even now I still have no idea why I took my own life in my past life. God said that I'll find out when the time is right. Once I drag John Ha-jin down to hell, my job as a Grim Reaper will finally be over. But seriously, when am I going to get my memories back? Right at that moment, her phone chimed with a message. Opening it, she saw Ha-jin texting the group chat. What time are we meeting Ji-ho? And I don't finish class until around 10. So, In-ah made the call. Let's meet at 11. Where should we go tomorrow? How about a cafe? Ji-ho suggested a cafe right in front of the school gates. She immediately finalized it. Sounds good. Let's meet in front of the cafe at 11 and we'll wrap things up before dinner. All right. Whether I figure out the reason or not, as long as John Ha-jin dies, my mission here is done. She stared intently at John Ha-jin's name in her Grim Reaper's ledger, her anticipation building. I really can't wait for tomorrow to come. Meanwhile, Ah-ho had also gotten the text. 11 o'clock at the cafe. Hurry up. I really wish tomorrow would get here already. The very next day, Ha-jin showed up right on time to wait for the others. But it seemed like the other three were running super late. Seriously, they're taking way too long. He quickly shot a message to the group. Where are you guys? Ji-ho instantly replied with an apology. I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be a little late. In-ah followed up right after. My bad, I'll be about 10 minutes late too. This completely irritated him. These damn brats. It's way too hot out here. I should just go wait inside the cafe. He sent one more text. Where's Ah-ho? Right on cue, Ah-ho arrived. I'm so sorry I'm a little late, aren't I? I totally forgot to charge my phone, so... But the moment he saw her, he completely froze. His stunned reaction left her feeling a bit confused. The way she looked right now, it perfectly overlapped with the image of his first love. He just couldn't take his eyes off her, staring intently. It started to make her anxious. John Ha-jin, what's wrong? Does something hurt? Snapping out of his daze, Ha-jin quickly denied it. No. But then he caught himself panicking slightly. He hastily took a step back, putting distance between them. I'm just thirsty, that's all. His sudden pulling away made her feel a little stung. Oh, all right. Let's head inside first then. He agreed immediately. Yeah, good idea. In-ah and Ji-ho are running late anyway. With that, Ah-ho turned to walk in first. I'll head on in then. I'll save a good seat for us, so just take your time. He stood there silently watching her back as she walked away. He just couldn't stop thinking about it, and unconsciously let out a heavy sigh. Ugh! What on earth are you doing, John Ha-jin? The mood was perfectly fine, and I just had to go and ruin it. At that exact moment, Ah-ho was busy thinking that he probably saw her as some kind of weirdo. I'm losing my mind. As she made her way to the cafe, her mind kept drifting back to what had just happened. He pulled his hand away from me. Looking at it from Ha-jin's perspective, it's completely understandable that he felt uncomfortable. It had been so long since we were last alone together, so I guess I got a little too excited and completely forgot about the distance between us now. It's probably best if I keep my distance for a while. Just like back then, I really don't want to see that uncomfortable look in his eyes ever again. Just thinking about it was enough to make her heart ache. Stepping inside the cafe, she stared at the menu completely bewildered. Ha-jin walked up right then. Ah-ho, did you pick your drink yet? Caught off guard, she started stammering. What do I do? I don't understand a single thing on here. She kept hesitating, totally clueless about what to order. Then she suddenly shouted, Ha-jin, just pick something for me. I'll drink whatever you're having. But when the order finally came out, Ah-ho stared at it in sheer disappointment. It's so tiny. Everyone else has these massive cups, so why is mine the only ridiculously small one? So she picked it up and threw the whole thing back in a single gulp. And her very first experience drinking coffee hit her with instant regret because it tasted absolutely dreadful. Why on earth do people actually like this stuff? It tastes like bitter poison. Right then, Ha-jin came back from the restroom and gasped in shock. You just drank that straight, but you said you wanted the affogato. She completely froze. The what now? After he ordered a new one and set it up properly, Ah-ho was completely blown away by how delicious it was. Wow, this is amazing. So this is how you're supposed to eat it. Seeing the sheer delight on her face brought a warm smile to his lips. I'm so glad she likes it. Hejin even slid a glass of water over to her. It's easy to choke if you only eat the ice cream. Make sure you drink some water too. Oh, thanks. He watched her affectionately, thinking to himself, having a little sister probably feels exactly like this. Wait a minute. Doesn't this technically count as an indirect kiss? Aho took a quick sip and let out a refreshing sigh. Ice water really is the best. When she handed the glass back to him, a sudden wave of butterflies fluttered in his chest. Aho hasn't even noticed a thing. I'm the only one sitting here overthinking this. Then it hit him, and he panicked. Wait, did I just feel disappointed? Why would I feel that way? Is it just because Aho reminds me of my first love? Oh my god, this is insane. I am such a terrible person. Right then, Chiho finally showed up. Hey guys, so sorry I'm late. Still drowning in his own guilt, Hajin immediately snapped at him. Why the hell are you so late? Chiho nervously fumbled for an excuse. Well, you see, my stomach was acting up, so I was stuck in the bathroom. Hajin completely called him out. Who on earth spends an entire hour in the bathroom? Cornered Chiho just shrugged it off casually. Hey, it happens to the best of us. But if we rewind back to an hour ago while he was leisurely strolling down the street, Ine suddenly called out to him, Seo Chiho, take a little detour with me, will you? Chiho was completely baffled. Really? Right now, aren't we heading straight to the cafe? So she quickly explained her plan. You know perfectly well that Aho has a huge crush on John Hajin. Let's give them some alone time. We'll just show up a little late. After all, this is going to be the last time. Back at the cafe, while Aho was happily eating, Ina finally made her entrance. Sorry guys, I'm so late. Chiho immediately teased her. Look who finally decided to show up. Annoyed, she shot right back. Oh, zip it, you were late too. Suddenly, Aho excitedly called out to her. Oi. She wanted to show off the outfit Ina had helped her pick out. Look, I'm wearing the exact outfit you chose for me. Seeing the absolute mess of ice cream smeared all over Aho's face, Ina reached over and wiped it off. At least wipe the cream off your face before you talk. It seemed the tension between the two girls had completely melted away. Aho even offered to share her treat. Ha 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 ha, thanks. Oh right, do you want a bite of my avocado? Ina immediately declined. No thanks, and it's called an affogato. Aho looked confused. Wait, aren't avocado and affogato the exact same thing? Ine couldn't help but scold her. They are two completely different things, you idiot. The atmosphere was really lively. Then Jiho took a sip of Hajin's drink. Over here, Ina and Aho were also happily eating and drinking. Then she saw him grab Jiho's hair. Suddenly, her eyes wavered. She remembered how incredibly lonely she used to be in the past, without a single friend. But here, she was so happy. That smile made Ina and Hajin feel happy too. Yeah, the vibe was totally fine up until then. But then, how did it end up like this? Oh, wondering why I'm alone with Aho? It's because, going back 15 minutes ago when Hajin's iPad was at 10% battery. Man, my iPad only has 10% battery left. Did anyone bring a charger? But it seemed like no one brought one. So In-Ah pointed out, there's a supermarket up ahead, go buy one there. He agreed. Yeah, guess I have to. Jiho suddenly came up with a plan. Hey, let's play rock, paper, scissors. The loser goes to buy it and grabs some snacks too. He agreed. Ha ha. Usually the one who suggests it is the one who loses. And, just like Hajin said, he totally lost. He actually lost. Aho lost too. You two go and come right back. And so the two of them had to go shopping together. Jiho felt a bit awkward with just the two of them. If only I came with Ina instead. He looked over and saw Aho walking really fast and couldn't understand why she was in such a rush. Oh, is she worried about Ina and Hajin being alone together? Aho quickly gathered the items and wanted to head back right away. We're done buying. Let's head back now. Suddenly, he said, hey, and even flicked her forehead, reassuring her. Don't worry, those two don't have feelings for each other. In-Ah is actually trying to ship you and Hajin. Getting her forehead flicked, she completely spaced out. Should I silence him forever or just kill him right now? But that intense gaze actually made Jiho's heart waver. Why Ah-ho is just looking at me. His heart was racing and his head was throbbing too. Actually, it was because of his previous trauma that his body confused fear with romantic fluttering. Ah-ho thought about last time and decided to let it slide. If he gets hit like last time, he'll faint for sure. I'll spare him this time. Suddenly, she had a bad premonition. When she turned around, she just saw a noisy crowd gathering to watch something. Is there a fire over there? Jiho looked in that direction and panicked. Wait a minute. Isn't the place that's burning the cafe we just left? The cafe, where the four of them were just sitting, was indeed engulfed in a massive fire. It made him incredibly anxious. Oh my God, why aren't those two picking up? When he looked over at Ah-ho, he saw her rushing down from upstairs. Meanwhile, the cafe was burning fiercely. Ha-jin was trying with all his might to break the door and escape. He was completely powerless. It wouldn't open and the door handle was already burning hot. His phone was also too hot to use. Since both of them were wearing earphones at the time, they didn't notice the fire soon enough to escape. But the truth was, In-A was only pretending to listen to music. By now, thick smoke had billowed into the room. The smoke was pouring in. He was standing right at death's door. He couldn't even breathe. This is bad. My consciousness is fading. I have to at least save In-A. But looking over, he only saw In-A smirking and sighing. Oh my. What should we do now? It seems your prince is running late. Meanwhile, in another location, Co Dan Bai was relentlessly firing her gun at Ah-ho. When she couldn't see her target anymore, she thought it was over. Is it finally over? But in reality, Ah-ho was completely unharmed. Because she had deflected every single bullet with just her bare hands, this left Dan Bai completely shocked. My bullets! Earlier, In-A had asked her to stall for time, but she didn't know how long she needed to hold out. In-A's face had darkened as she told her, 1 minute. If you can last that long, you're already doing great. Only now did Dan Bai understand what In-A meant back then. Senior, what should I do? I'm afraid I won't even last 1 minute. Back at the burning cafe, In-A finally spoke up to Jung Ha-jin. Everyone dies eventually. And you are no exception. Faced with the current situation, he couldn't understand it at all. What is going on here? Could it be that In-A wasn't human? This time she wanted to make one thing clear to him. You must have realized it many times by now. You were always meant to die a long time ago. Those words instantly sent him into deep shock. Things have been so peaceful lately, I thought I was finally free from the curse. Ever since middle school, I've had so many near-death experiences. But ever since I enrolled in this school, everything suddenly went quiet. I truly believed I had finally escaped. In his delusions, there was always a girl haunting him, whispering, "Is that so? Even you are abandoning me. I will curse you for the rest of my life." In a tightly gripped Ha-jin's death record in her hand, she called out his name, Young Ha-jin. But he refused to accept a death like this. No way. I still have... Just as death was imminent, a hand smashed right through the wall. Both of them watched in pure astonishment. They saw Ah-ho rushing in. She found him and called out, "I found you." Ha-jin was barely conscious by now, but he still had enough sense to realize that Ah-ho had arrived. As he passed out, he fell into a dream. He found himself walking into a forest. It left him completely confused. What is this? Where am I? Why am I in a forest? Oh crap, I can't remember anything from before. What do I do now? I pinched myself to see if this was just a dream. Ouch! Well, with pain like that, it's definitely not a dream. Ha-jin frantically searched for his phone to let people know he was safe. I need to call someone first. Where is my phone? But his phone was nowhere to be found. Am I lost? Calm down. I really need to stay calm right now. Just calm down. But right then, a familiar figure appeared in front of him. That silhouette was so incredibly familiar, it made his heart skip a beat. He quickly snapped out of it. Oh crap, this is no time to be so relaxed. So he cleared his throat, turned on his super handsome charm, and tried to catch the girl's attention. I think I'm lost. If you know the way out, could you point me in the right direction? But Ah-ho didn't answer. She just walked right past him, leaving him in total shock. She completely ignored me. He hurriedly chased after her. Hey, let me tag along. Thinking back, it's pretty weird that I followed her without a second thought, but at that moment, that girl was like a guiding firefly in the dark. Ha-jin trailed behind her, chattering nonstop. I'm so glad I'm not the only one in this forest. But do you actually live here? I don't see any houses around. This was the 6th time he got ignored, and he was starting to feel a bit bummed out. Does she really not want to talk to me? But it was too dark to see clearly earlier. Now that I look closely, her ears are longer than a normal person's, and she's wearing clothes I've never seen before. Either way, she's definitely not human. In that case, she must be an elf. A greedy little thought popped into his head. I really want to hear her voice just once. Right then, Aho raised her hand, pointing down toward a bustling city. Ha-jin's face lit up with joy. Hey, it's a city! But when he turned around, she was already walking away. He panicked. Wait, hold on a second. Hearing his voice, she stopped and turned back. He simply looked down and offered her his own shoes. If you don't mind, please take my shoes. It's all paved stairs from here on out, so I'll be fine. But the ground back there is full of sharp rocks and branches. Hearing that, Aho couldn't help but smile. That smile perfectly matched the Aho he knew from school. It completely baffled him. Why would Aho be here? Ha-jin finally woke up from his dream. He looked around in confusion, realizing he was lying in a hospital bed. Why am I in the hospital? Right then, the memories of the accident came flooding back. In his most desperate moment, Aho had shown up just in time. Remembering everything that happened left him completely speechless. As soon as he was discharged from the hospital, Ha-jin hurried straight to school. The moment they saw him walk in, his classmates swarmed around him to check in. Oh my gosh, John Ha-jin, are you okay? You were literally on the news. He glanced over. In Ah and Aho's seats were completely empty. So he asked around, what about Aho? Did she come to school today? His classmates were confused. You mean Aho, John Ha-jin's deskmate? Neither Aho nor In-ah had showed up for class. Suddenly, Ji-ho pulled him aside. Let's go outside and talk. As soon as they reached the rooftop, Ji-ho asked, Ha-jin, do you remember when we were kids? He was totally lost. What do you mean? Ji-ho suddenly yelled, back then you used to say that ghosts and monsters were real. I thought you were just messing with me. Who knew you were actually telling the truth? Do you have any idea what I saw in that cafe? At the time, people were trying to stop Ji-ho from rushing in. Students aren't allowed in here. But he pushed past them anyway, desperately searching for John Ha-jin. The moment he spotted him, Ji-ho sprinted over. He hoisted him up. He shook him frantically. John Ha-jin, hey Ha-jin, wake up! Suddenly, he remembered In-ah. Right, In-ah, where's In-ah? He looked over, only to see Aho and In-ah locked in a brutal fight. In-ah had even drawn her sword. She sliced Aho's arm right off. Blood splattered everywhere. It splashed right onto Ji-ho's face. 17-year-old Seo Ji-ho was the youngest boy in a family of 2 sisters and 1 brother. He was spoiled his whole life, completely sheltered, and used to living in absolute comfort. So witnessing a scene like that was a devastating shock. He passed out right then and there. Now he was even more confused. If they were normal people, they'd be dead, but the cops didn't find any bodies or clues at all. And did you know Aho jumped off a high-rise building just to save you? I thought I was hallucinating. Hearing this, Ha-jin stated without hesitation, I have to get to the bottom of this. Ji-ho was totally lost. Wait, what? A determined glint flashed in his eyes. He made up his mind to find them. The next day, Ha-jin went to the staff room to ask for Aho's home address. Aho's address. But the teacher seemed reluctant to share it. I'm sorry, Ha-jin. Home addresses are confidential, so I really can't give that out. He knew he was asking a lot, so he didn't push it. It's all right, miss. Thanks anyway. He brushed it off, but inside he felt incredibly disappointed. Seeing his face, the teacher softened. Listen, I can try reaching out to Aho's guardian for permission. Can you wait? I'll let you know what they say. His face instantly lit up. Thank you so much. Stepping out of the office, Ha-jin let out an exhausted sigh. He knew it wouldn't be that easy. I've been looking for any trace of Aho for days now, ever since she vanished. But the only thing I've realized from asking around is that absolutely no one really knows her. Who's that again? No clue. We literally never talked. He just couldn't wrap his head around it. You had cleaning duty with her last time, and you two didn't say a single word. She seriously didn't say a word. I just kept my head down and cleaned. I wanted to chat, but her vibe just made it impossible to break the ice. Hitting dead end after dead end was really draining his motivation. She wasn't close to a single person. I expected as much, but I didn't think it would be this bad, and everyone says she was cold. According to the rumors, Aho was completely unapproachable and gave off a freezing aura. But the Aho I remember was actually really shy. Thinking about this, his mind drifted back to the past. Looking back on it, she had asked him so hesitantly, "Are you planning to eat lunch with Ina?" Eyes armoring to see. He remembered how she saved him when he was at death's door, and the way she always reached out her hand to him. Holding him back, it made him realize that the one who took the initiative at that crucial moment was actually her. Basking in that early morning sun, Aho hesitated before speaking up. "So here's the thing." She gathered all her courage, wanting to say something. Hajin was about to listen when some classmates called out to him, "John Hajin, what are you doing? Who's that?" Even he wasn't sure. "Beats me. This is my first time meeting her, too." Those words completely froze Aho in her tracks. He spoke up to clarify, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I lost my memories in an accident. Do we know each other?" Since he couldn't remember, she had no choice but to let go. She instinctively took a step back, flashing a bright smile. "I'm sorry. It looks like I've got the wrong person." Just recalling that much was enough to make him bang his own head in frustration. "I should just drop dead." "No, I can't die this early. Even if I die, I have to clear things up with Aho first. It's way too early for me to give up." Meanwhile, out on the streets, Hajin searched endlessly, desperate to catch a glimpse of Aho. Even at school, he wore a missing person sign on his back to look for her. He even wandered into the woods all by himself. But no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't find her. The other students saw him and couldn't help but wonder, what's wrong with him? "I heard he's doing all sorts of crazy things to find some girl named Aho. He probably hasn't found her yet." They looked at the picture completely speechless. This is Aho. Turns out there are things even he can't pull off, huh? Then they just stared at Hajin, not knowing what else to say. His eyes were totally bloodshot. "I really didn't want to resort to this. I must be going crazy." That night, he begged the security guard to let him into the surveillance room. "I really shouldn't be letting you snoop around in here, but since it's you, Hajin, I'll make an exception." "Thank you so much, sir." The guard also hoped he'd find the kid soon. "Is she a classmate of yours?" "Yes, she is." The guard's eyes followed him, looking at the expression on his face right now. Seeing the sheer pain on his face, the man couldn't help but pat his head. "Don't go doing anything reckless and head straight home once you're done looking." "I will." A while passed by, and he was still tirelessly searching. "On the day of the incident, if I trace the direction Aho went, maybe I'll find a clue." As he was clicking through, he suddenly spotted her. "That's Aho." When she arrived, she came in a car. Was the person in the car a family member? But surprisingly, the person inside the car was a young man. He didn't look like Aho at all. A guy. They don't look anything alike. A few days later, he finally crossed paths with the mysterious guy caught on that security footage. While class was in session, his mind was completely wandering elsewhere, and yet he ended up spotting the guy from the video. It was definitely him. Hajin couldn't hold back anymore. He begged the teacher to let him leave. "Miss, my stomach hurts so bad. Can I please go to the restroom right now?" It's an emergency." He was absolutely determined not to lose track of that guy. The second he was out the door, he broke into a sprint, silently pleading in his head, "Please don't go. Don't go. Please, just don't go." Just thinking about Aho's smile made him realize he couldn't let this chance slip away. "Please." But when he ran downstairs, he saw that the guy had already left. The trail went dead right there, leaving him feeling completely crushed. Over in a corner, two students were secretly smoking. Suddenly, they looked up, only to see Ha-jin standing there looking absolutely terrifying as he called out Kim Hyun-soo. "You have a bike, right? Let me borrow it. It's an emergency." His sudden appearance scared the life out of the kid. "Geez, you startled me, and no way, forget it." Getting rejected made him panic. "Crap, this is bad. At this rate, I'm definitely going to lose him." Suddenly, his eyes lit up. He noticed the cigarette in the kid's hand. Hey, do your parents know you smoke? I actually have their phone numbers, you know. Are you sure you won't let me borrow it? But the kid didn't look scared at all. Ha, that's hilarious. You don't have any proof yet, you're talking big. Ha-jin gave him a deadly glare. Think about it. Who are your parents going to believe, a regular troublemaker like you or me? At that point, the kid had no choice but to cave. Well, obviously they'd. The moment he got the bike, Ha-jin frantically pedaled off to chase down that car. Watching his precious bike being ridden away made the kid want to pass out from the pain. My bike. Up ahead, he saw the car stopped right at a red light. They're stuck at the light. This is my chance. He rushed up to block their path. Hey, wait a second. But the person inside completely ignored him. The driver looked confused. Sir, someone is calling out to us. Should I stop the car? The guy just gave a slight smirk. He refused to stop. It's just John Ha-jin. Just ignore him. Jong-ro, I am entrusting Lord Aho to you. Right now, you are the only one who can stay by his side and protect him. Please put your heart into taking good care of him. Even though he might not show it on the outside, he actually gets lonely much easier than anyone else. In the previous episode, John Ha-jin chased after the mysterious man on a bicycle. He pedaled so hard that the wheels literally started smoking. John Ha-jin was absolutely furious because getting here had been a complete nightmare. Tree branches had completely blocked his view. He even got attacked by a flock of birds. After that insanely long ride, Jong-ro stepped out of his car and let out a surprised laugh. Oh, you actually made it. I totally thought you would have given up by now. Guess you're a lot more stubborn than I gave you credit for. Ha-jin glared at that smug face boiling with rage. That bastard knew perfectly well I was chasing him, but he ignored me on purpose. Jong-ro finally made up his mind. Well, since you went through all the trouble to get here, I suppose I can give you a chance. Come on in. Ha-jin honestly didn't expect Jong-ro to be this incredibly rich. He even thought the guy was being nice enough to bring out some coffee for him. He reached out to take it, dying of thirst. Thanks. But Jong-ro immediately snatched it back. Oh, this isn't for you. It's mine. Seeing him flaunt all that wealth just made him even more furious. But he managed to keep his cool and offered a compliment. This mansion is really beautiful. Huh. The guy's face instantly lit up with pure arrogance. You've got a good eye. It's the residence of a noble, so of course it has to look the part. I thought I picked the absolute best spot in the area, but I guess it's not quite perfect. Especially seeing the kind of pests that are already swarming around it. Ha-jin couldn't believe the guy was being so openly hostile, so he just cut straight to the chase. I'll just get straight to the point. Let me see Aho. I know Aho is here. There's something I absolutely have to tell him. Hearing that, Chongjo thought back to when Aho was happily trying on clothes. He had asked him one last time, do you really have to go? I heard there's even a Grim Reaper traveling with them. That's way too dangerous for you. If you really have to go, at least wait until I finish my work so we can meet up. But Aho immediately cut him off. Chongjo, this is my choice. Shaking off the memory, Chongjo let out a sigh. Follow me. Getting to see Aho this easily left Ha-jin completely bewildered. Is it really that easy? As the door creaked open, he was completely stunned to see Aho lying motionless on the bed. He couldn't help but ask, is he sleeping? Can I just wait here until he wakes up? Chongjo shrugged dismissively. Suit yourself. You can wait as long as you want, but once Lord Aho falls asleep, he's out cold for 50 years. Ha-jin was absolutely floored by that number. What, 50 years? Chongjo nodded firmly. Yes, 50 years. And just so you know, no matter what you do, you won't be able to wake him up. The realization crushed him. No, that's impossible. Seeing the sheer despair on his face brought Chongjo immense joy. Ha ha, now that's a priceless expression. Don't worry, Aho is just sleeping to let his body recover. Having the person right in front of you, but being completely powerless to do anything, you're finally starting to understand how that feels, aren't you? Ha-jin clenched his fists in frustration. But I didn't even get the chance to tell you what I needed to say. Suddenly, Chongjo asked him directly, are you giving up already? Didn't I tell you that I'd give you a chance? The moment he heard the word chance, Ha-jin's eyes lit up. A chance. Chongjo nodded. Yes, a chance. That chance is for you to go into Lord Aho's dream and wake him up yourself. We don't have all day. What are you waiting for? Put on some fresh clothes and lie down next to Lord Aho right now." Even though Hajin had no idea what was going on, he did as he was told. He laid down right beside him and tightly gripped Aho's hand. Will doing this really let me enter Aho's dream? Seeing them touch made Changjo instantly annoyed. "Hey, don't grip Lord Aho's hand so tight, and you're way too close, back off a little." After scolding him, Changjo clasped his hands together to cast the spell. "I'm starting the ritual now. Close your eyes and focus. Follow the sound of the Hagam. If you do that, you'll be able to find Lord Aho." When Hajin finally opened his eyes, he realized he had actually made it into the dream world. And right away, he spotted Aho. But then he realized, wait a minute, the person standing next to him was himself. Why am I in there? No, waking Aho up is the most important thing right now. So he ran over and yelled, "Aho! Wake up! It's me, Hajin. This is just a dream. We have to go back to the real world." Hearing that Aho shot him a deeply annoyed glare. "What the hell are you?" That look on her face shocked him so much that he snapped right out of it. Mr. Joe, sitting next to him, looked confused. "You're awake already." "I told you it's her dream. Since you're an uninvited guest, you won't look like yourself. To her, you probably just look like some random passerby or even a monster." Hajin was a bit confused. "But I was clearly right there with her?" Mr. Joe looked annoyed. "Because it's Aho's dream. Of course, the person she likes the most is right there next to her. If you annoy her even a little bit, you'll get kicked out immediately. So, watch your step." Hajin entered the dream once again, only to see Aho dancing with the dream version of himself. The scene was just absolutely beautiful. "Wow, so pretty." Getting lost in his thoughts, he quickly shook his head to snap out of it. Wait, now is not the time for this. Every time he tried to get close, he'd get spotted and instantly booted out of the dream. How on earth was he supposed to wake Aho up? The scene unfolding right in front of him was getting way too romantic. The mood was set and they were leaning in for a kiss. He was completely shocked. Hey, this is moving way too fast. So he rushed forward and slapped the dream Hajin right across the face. "We are still minors, you know." After smacking his dream self, he wiped the sweat from his forehead and sighed in relief. Phew, that was close. But when he turned to look at her face, Hajin couldn't help but blush. Caught in the moment, he leaned in to kiss her. But her expression instantly darkened, and she called him a creep. Then she landed a solid punch on him, and he woke up looking completely bewildered. Even Mr. Joe was completely speechless at this point. He just shook his head in absolute disbelief. This is a disaster. So Hajin went into the dream yet again. Seeing Aho's bright and happy smile, he told himself he had to just blend in like a background character. If he caught their attention for even a second, he'd be thrown out immediately. What was he supposed to do now? As the two of them lay down on the grass and closed their eyes, enjoying the peaceful breeze, Aho looked so incredibly happy. She was holding on to the dream Hajin's hand, refusing to let go. "The weather is so nice today," she said. The dream Hajin agreed. "With this cool breeze, I'm getting kind of sleepy. I wish we could stay like this forever. We could go for walks together, cook together, and at night, we'd leave the nightlight on and talk until morning. But honestly, your cooking is pretty terrible. Aho, don't worry, I'll teach you step by step. Do you remember the very first soup you ever made? No matter how much time passes, I'll never forget that taste." Thinking about never getting to eat that soup again, it's actually kind of sad. Suddenly, the dream version of Hajin vanished into thin air. Aho was left feeling completely helpless. A deep sense of loneliness quickly washed over her, breaking her heart. No, please don't. Right at that moment, the real Hajin appeared and gently asked, "What are you doing sitting here? Aho, I've been looking all over for you. Today's the day we're supposed to go to the amusement park. Remember why the long face?" His sudden appearance left her completely confused. I kept asking myself, what the heck am I doing? We're gonna be late. Hurry up! Aho was being led by the hand, walking right behind him. She stared at Hajin's back as he walked ahead. And, just like that, her happiness came rushing back. The real Hajin stood there watching the two of them. In the dream, Hajin asked, "This is your first time, right, Aho? It might look normal from the outside, but you'd better brace yourself." Aho was confused as to why she needed to mentally prepare. He leaned in and warned, "This amusement park actually has a bizarrely high number of missing persons reports, and a lot of accidents too. You got a wristband at the entrance, right? Whatever you do, do not lose it. If you do, you'll never be able to go home." She stared nervously at her wristband, but then Hajin burst out laughing. "I'm just messing with you." He practically gave her a heart attack. She punched him so hard he almost coughed up blood. "I thought you were serious." He immediately backed down. Okay, I'm sorry, you just looked way too tense." The real Hajin quietly watched them go. He thought to himself, is this supposed to be an amusement park? No, it wasn't. But I guess that made sense. After all, this was just a dream, since Aho had never actually been to an amusement park before this entire place was stitched together from her imagination. The dream Hajin bought her some cotton candy. "Consider this my apology. How about it? You've been saying you wanted to try some ever since we were in the forest. Now that your wish has finally come true, would milady care to describe the taste?" She took one bite and answered, "It tastes like the mortal realm." Seeing the bright smile on the dream Hajin's face, and on Aho's, she secretly prayed that this moment would last forever. Suddenly the sky turned pitch black. Aho reached out, wanting to pull him back. "Hajin, should we try one of the thrill rides next?" Out of nowhere, voices echoed around them. "Huh, aren't those two Aho and Hajin? Hey, we've been looking everywhere for you guys. I thought we agreed to ride the pirate ship together. Wait, who is that over there? Who's that standing next to you?" She completely froze, not expecting anyone else to show up. She quickly turned to look at Hajin, and just like that, the memories of when they first met came flooding back. "Wait a minute. Haven't I seen this exact scene before?" Hajin slowly let go of her hand and casually brushed her off. "Beats me. I've never seen her before in my life either." Those cold words hit her like a ton of bricks. He then just walked off with his friends. When she finally snapped back to reality, she spun around desperate to pull him back. "Hajin, wait!" But no matter how fast she chased after him, he remained just out of reach. "I don't want to just be staring at your back. I want to stand right by your side, looking in the exact same direction." Unlike the quiet forest, this place is so loud and it completely reeks. "But as long as I'm by your side, Hajin, none of that matters. Just having you here is more than enough. And yet, you always end up leaving me behind." Suddenly, she slammed face first into someone. Annoyed, she rubbed her face and looked up, only to be completely startled by someone in a giant teddy bear mascot suit. Realizing it was her fault, Aho quickly stepped back. I'm so sorry." Suddenly, something clicked in Hajin's mind. He then held out his hand. She didn't understand what was going on at all. Did he want her to take his hand? The moment she reached out, the two of them flew up into the air. The sensation left her completely stunned. He even snapped his fingers, making the entire amusement park light up brilliantly, catching Aho's eyes. He thought to himself, if I can influence Aho's dream, then that means my actions can actually change this dream, right? I'll do whatever it takes to turn this dream upside down and wake you up. Aho looked at the brightly colored park and suddenly remembered Hajin. So she turned to him and said, "Excuse me, you can put me down now. My friend is still down there." But he absolutely refused to let her go. "Are you going to keep worrying about that friend forever? It's not every day you get to visit an amusement park, so just enjoy it for a bit." 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes is enough. Hang out with me for that long, and then I'll help you find your friend. She immediately hesitated, if it was only for that long. Inside the dazzling, colorful park, Hajin got her a pair of bunny ears, but she didn't want them and just tossed them aside. After that, the two of them went on the Ferris wheel, rode the roller coaster, and even ate some refreshing ice cream. He thought she'd be happy after eating, but there wasn't a single smile on her face, which made Hajin a bit concerned. He asked her straight up, "Are you not having fun?" Aho denied it right away. "No, I'm actually having a lot of fun." Hearing that made him feel a bit relieved. "That's good then, but your face doesn't really show it." So she poured out her true feelings. "Honestly, I just wish I was with the friend I came here with. It's not that I hated hanging out with you. I genuinely had a good time. If I ever get the chance, I want to go on these rides with him too. Though I don't even know if that'll ever happen." Hajin suddenly blurted out what was on his mind. "Does it absolutely have to be him?" She looked at him in confusion. Huh. He then said bluntly, because I seriously don't get it. Is he really that important to you, even when he can just leave you behind and laugh as if nothing happened? Just let him go. From the very beginning, that guy was never worth all your suffering and heartache. Right after Ha-jin said that, he realized just how incredibly stupid he sounded. Oh crap, she's gonna kill me. But contrary to his expectations, Aho suddenly called out to him, Jian Ha-jin. He instinctively replied, yeah. She then opened up to him. The thing is, my friend once said the exact same thing. He didn't mean anything bad by it. He's actually a lot like you. He used to be really sensitive at first, too. Thinking about it, her eyes softened once again, and she asked the question lingering in her heart. Do I really look that exhausted because of him? It's fine, I chose this path myself. I'm doing it for me. I've lived for all these years, but I've never once been able to live for myself. With no emotions and no thoughts of my own, I just lived like a machine, merely doing my duty. It was thanks to him that I finally realized my heart could flutter, that I could feel things too. He's the one who helped me uncover parts of myself that I didn't even know existed. That's why, to me, he is someone I absolutely cannot live without, even though he probably doesn't need me at all. Just the thought of Ha-jin forgetting about her made her heart ache. How could we ever go back to being as close as we used to be? Time flows differently for him and me, so I was terrified that I might forget something at any moment. It made me so anxious. I must have been way too pushy before, and it probably made him feel really uncomfortable. It's only natural that he hates me now. I only thought about my own feelings without caring at all about Ha-jin's thoughts or his pace. Even if he despises me, I have no right to complain. Hearing this, Ha-jin couldn't hold back anymore and protested. That's not true. I wasn't avoiding you because I was annoyed. I only avoided you because my heart was beating way too fast, and I have never, ever hated you. She couldn't even process what she was hearing. Ha-jin kept scolding her. Why do you always jump to conclusions by yourself? I never said I hated you. Aho. In fact, it's the exact opposite. He decisively pulled off his bear hat, pouring his heart out with absolute sincerity. I don't want to have this conversation in a dream. Hurry up and wake up. Aho was completely stunned when she saw Ha-jin standing right in front of her. She asked herself, is this a dream? The moment she realized it, the dream space began to crack. Aho raised her hand and slapped herself right in the face. Just to confirm, it doesn't hurt. She stood next to the glowing crack. She wanted to throw herself into his arms just to be sure. Is it really you, Ha-jin? You're not an illusion, right? Ha-jin explained without hesitation. I only managed to get in here thanks to the guy living at your place. She was puzzled. What guy? Then she realized he meant Chong-ro. As the dream completely shattered, his body began to float. It felt as though he was being sucked away. At the last moment, he grabbed her hand tightly. Wake up now. Aho, I'll be waiting for you in the real world. Hearing that, Ashita smiled softly. Watching him fade away, she thought to herself, this Ha-jin was probably just another illusion. The real Ha-jin should be in the hospital right now. How could he come to my house when he's hurt so badly? Meanwhile, back in the house, it was completely silent. Aho's eyes were squeezed shut. Suddenly, she woke up and saw Ha-jin lying right next to her smiling. She was totally stunned. Wait, it wasn't a dream. It was real. The two of them were sharing a happy moment. But then Chong-ro rushed over and shoved him away. Hey, Aho, how are you feeling? Are you hurting anywhere? Getting so much attention made her a bit flustered. No, I'm fine. At this moment, she could finally be certain that this was really happening. Aho spoke up, but more importantly, thank you. I heard you're the one who brought Ha-jin here. And thank you too, Ha-jin. In my dream. Her sudden words left the two of them completely confused. Aho, lady, aho! She suddenly recalled the dream she had while dancing. There was someone standing right next to her. The two of them were even about to kiss, and the memory alone made her blush furiously. This sudden reaction made the other two panic. Aho, lady, aho! Later, Ha-jin went for a walk with her. You haven't fully recovered yet. Is it really okay to be walking around? She kept reassuring him. I'm fine, really. I need to move around at a time like this, especially since I've been stuck in bed this whole time. He had no choice but to warn her. If you feel tired, tell me right away. Don't push yourself. That's the most important thing. Suddenly, his eyes filled with unspoken words, and he called out to her, "Aho!" Hearing her name, she turned around in confusion. Is something wrong? He thought back to when the fire broke out. She had charged right into the flames. Remembering the look on her face, he couldn't help but wonder, what exactly happened at the cafe that day? Thinking back to that day, her gaze grew empty and distant. While the fire was raging, Aho had been locked in a fierce battle with Ina. If it's his time to die, you just have to accept it. I've guided countless souls to the afterlife by now. I understand the laws of life and death perfectly well. I know all of that, but I just can't let go of that child. Hearing this, In-Ah let out a weary sigh. To think you'd become this pathetic over a mere human. In the end, you're no different from the rest. Clinging to the dead is an insult to the living. You think Yoon Ha-jin is so special right now, don't you? Like he's some kind of guiding light? But humans always change. They'll turn their backs on you in a heartbeat if it benefits them. That's just what humans are. Snap out of it. This is my final warning. Go back to the forest right now. Roots that entangle too tightly become what we call love. And if they can't be untangled, they turn into chains. Hearing this, Aho suddenly pulled away from Ina, catching her completely off guard. Aho then delivered a crushing blow. It was a devastating strike, strong enough to make Ina cough up blood. She glared at her and demanded, "You, what do you know?" Jiho happened to witness this exact moment. But in that brief moment of distraction, In-Ah swiftly drew her sword and sliced Aho's arm clean off. Blood splattered everywhere. In that split second, only one thought crossed her mind. I'm hit, and I won't be able to heal from this right away. Was it because of that mark? No, something was already wrong before that. Both my movements and my healing had already slowed down. Where did things start going so wrong? Suddenly, she remembered the shots Danby fired earlier. She had caught the bullets with her bare hands and crushed every single one of them. Now she realized it. It was right after she crushed those bullets. That was the exact moment. Her powers began to fade, leaving her completely defenseless. Ine had her sword pointed right at her face. I've lost my very last chance. Looking at Aho lying on the ground, she remembered her smile from before, and the time she wiped the cream off her face. The happy moments they had shared together, and her bright, carefree smile. All of those memories made In-Ah's heart waver. Jiho, do you have any last words? She tried to say something, but In-Ah couldn't hear a thing. Aho's eyes flashed. Come forth. A giant tiger suddenly appeared right behind In-Ah. As it lunged at her, In-Ah was forced to defend herself. An illusion. But when she looked back, they were nowhere to be seen. Aho had managed to save them just in time. Both John Ha-jin and Seo Ji-ho had completely vanished. Damn it! That foolish mountain god. Meanwhile, Aho had used every ounce of his strength to help them escape. Back in the present, she finished explaining everything to Ha-jin, and well, that's how we ended up here. Hearing this, he unconsciously clenched his fists. He remembered what Ina had said earlier. All humans have to die eventually. You can't be an exception to that rule. I knew it. My eyes weren't playing tricks on me back then. His head throbbed from the overload of information. Okay, logically, I get it. But this is just way too much to process all at once. So you're saying Ina is a Grim Reaper? And Aho, what exactly are you? With that, she transformed back into her true original form, to face him properly once again. The sudden transformation left him completely speechless. As soon as Aho transformed, he introduced himself. I'm the mountain god. We've met before, haven't we? This story takes place before he even met Aho. When was it again? I think it was back in middle school. At the time, Ha-jin had gotten into another accident. He had been struck by a truck. Cold air rushed deep into his lungs, only to helplessly slip back out. Why do I keep getting hurt so much lately? His consciousness slowly faded to black. He was now in the hospital. A nurse outside politely called out, "Mr. Sun Ha-jin, I'm coming in for a moment." As soon as she walked in, she pulled out a blood pressure monitor to check on him. Let's check your blood pressure. Suddenly, she glanced over and noticed a huge pile of books on his desk. So she smiled and warmly said, "Studying must be really tough, huh?" He nodded and timidly replied, "Yes." So she gently advised him, "Make sure to take breaks while you study." At the time, her first impression of the patient's son Ha-jin was that he was incredibly shy and seemed somewhat gloomy. That was probably just because of the hospital environment, but how should I put it? He just had the kind of face you couldn't bring yourself to ignore. Sometime later, the nurse was pleasantly surprised. "Oh, you're getting discharged today." Hearing that, he replied, "Ah, yes, thank you so much for everything." So she cheerfully told him, "Make sure you don't come back here and focus on your studies." Watching Ha-jin politely bow made her unconsciously smile. But then she sighed to herself, "Oh man, I really want to go home too." Watching the patient's son Ha-jin get discharged, I felt so relieved that he had recovered safely. I really hoped that once he left, he'd live a perfectly normal life as if nothing had ever happened. I truly hoped for that. But then on that fateful day, she was left absolutely stunned when she saw Ha-jin being admitted to the hospital for a second time. Seeing the look on his face, she couldn't help but gasp, "Oh my goodness!" Sometime later, he was discharged once again. "Thank you for everything during my stay." The nurse looked him in the eye and smiled gently. She genuinely hoped it was true. She hoped today would be the very last time they ever saw each other. "Take care on your way out. This is really the last time, right? Please don't ever come back here again." Shockingly, not long after that, Ha-jin got smashed in the head with a bottle and was left badly bleeding. Later that day, the nurses were doing their shift handover. One of the nurses spoke up. "Patient son Ha-jin was just admitted again today." She was totally startled. "Son Ha-jin?" The other nurses sighed in exhaustion. "That patient is here again. Good grief." She couldn't understand it. The others knew about him too. What in the world is going on with that poor kid? She went to check on Ha-jin once again. "Patient son Ha-jin, I'm coming in." This time he looked even more miserable than before. He felt incredibly guilty. "I'm so sorry. I promised I wouldn't come back yet. Here I am." But she didn't think he had anything to apologize for. "What are you sorry for? I get paid to take care of you guys. You're the one who's hurt, so you're the one suffering the most." When she looked up, then she saw Ha-jin sobbing his heart out. Seeing him let it out made her feel a little more at ease. This should be okay, right? The kind nurse even reached out her hand, comforting him during his lowest moment. A few weeks passed by, and the day for patient John Ha-jin to be discharged finally arrived. She practically clasped her hands in prayer. "Seriously, please, I'm begging you. Let's never meet again. Don't come back here." Ha-jin watched her and couldn't hold back a laugh. The nurse got annoyed. "Are you not even going to answer me now?" So he flatly replied, "I don't want to come here anymore either." "Exactly. Here's a slice of cake. You've worked so hard taking care of me lately, thank you." She quickly waved it off. "You really didn't have to get me anything." "Well, thank you. I took the gift, so this really has to be the last time, okay?" He smiled and promised, "Yeah, the very last time." Watching him walk out of the hospital as the doors slowly closed behind him, she finally felt a wave of relief. Several days went by and patient Jeon Ha-jin didn't show up again. She let out a sigh of relief, thinking, thank goodness he must be staying out of trouble lately. A few months flew by. She was happily strolling down the street. "The weather is absolutely gorgeous. My day off is finally here. I was so exhausted at the hospital I couldn't do a thing, but today I'm going to let loose. What should I do? First, I still have about 3 hours until dinner with my friends. Should I hit up a cafe or go shopping first? Or I heard there's a really good restaurant nearby. Maybe I should check that out." Just as she looked up, she spotted him, John Ha-jin. Seeing him out here instead of the hospital felt so strange. She was glad to see him, but she remembered her parting words. "Thank you. I took the gift, so this really has to be the last time. Okay?" And he had smiled back. "Yeah, the very last time." It would probably be best to just pretend not to know him and walk right past, right? Suddenly, he noticed something and quickly pulled her back. Out of nowhere, something came crashing down, right in front of her. What in the world? No, wait. If I had taken just one more step forward then, if that had happened, my heart feels like it's going to explode, but even louder than my heartbeat. In that moment, their eyes met. Ha-jin softly asked, "Are you looking at me with those eyes too?" She was completely caught off guard. "What do you mean?" He flinched, realizing he had just slipped up, and quickly turned to run. I'm sorry. She frantically called out to him. Wait, hold on a second. Ha-jin. John Ha-jin. That day, an older colleague invited him, Jiho, let's grab a buffet for lunch. He was totally bewildered. A buffet? Did the sun rise in the west today? She just told me, didn't you say we should check out that new place? I heard they even have a lunch discount right now, so hurry up and change. He was thrilled when he heard that. That's so awesome. He completely thought she was taking him out for a buffet. Who knew he'd get tricked into signing up for cram school? I'm here to register for new classes today. Can I get a consultation? That instantly killed his mood. He got played. She faked a buffet trip just to force him into cram school. She asked the counselor, can we get a consultation today? The counselor replied right away. Of course, please wait just a moment. Jiho thought to himself, is it too late to make a run for it? But then he spotted Hajin. Wait, that's the Seota middle school uniform. His face is completely bruised up. What the heck happened to him? Suddenly she called out, Seo Jiho, what are you doing? Come in for the consultation. Even though he was super curious about Hajin, he still had to listen. Got it. A kid covered in obvious scars looking totally gloomy. That was my first impression of John Hajin. Back then, when a female friend heard Jiho asking about Hajin, she said, Jian Hajin. He's actually pretty famous over at Seolan. Just look at his face, you already know why. He quickly agreed, exactly because his face is covered in scars. Right, she shot that down immediately. Wrong. It's because he's ridiculously handsome. The scars are just a bonus. He was still confused, but why is his face so messed up? Is he being bullied at school or something? She didn't think so. Probably not. My friend goes to that school and said, oh look. Looking at the posted photo, Jiho grew curious. Is he dating the purple-haired girl next to him? She seemed to know a bit about it. I heard it's a one-sided crush. That girl is into Jian Hajin. Hearing that, he could only wish. Man, I'd love to see her in real life just once. She's insanely pretty. Suddenly, she clamped a hand over his mouth. What is it? She just whispered, keep your voice down. Then they both kept a low profile. Unexpectedly, the purple-haired girl from the photo had come looking for Hajin. John Hajin. Seeing her there was definitely a surprise. Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. Hajin looked incredibly annoyed as he rejected Choi Jae-hee. I already told you to stop. I don't want to talk to you anymore, and I don't want to pretend we even know each other. Why do you keep following me all the way to cram school? Jae-hee yelled back, don't be ridiculous. How can you even say that? You think just because you say it's over, it's really over. He snapped back in frustration. I tried saying it nicely, but you never listen because you only ever think about yourself. Meanwhile, the two of them were eavesdropping. Oh my God, is this some romantic drama? She couldn't believe what she was hearing. What is that how you see me as some selfish brat who only cares about herself? Wow, good to know. Thanks for putting up with such a selfish girl all this time. You jerk. Now he was the only one left standing there. Since the show was over, the two of them stopped snooping. Jiho couldn't help but mutter, that was brutal. So brutal. Feeling like it wasn't their business, she decided to bail. Anyway, let's head to class. It's almost time to start. Walk quietly so we don't get caught, he grumbled under his breath. Damn it. They both sneaked past as silently as possible. But Jiho's gaze suddenly shifted over, seeing Hajin still covered in his injuries. He just looked so incredibly lonely. Over on Jaehee's side. Having just been rejected by Hajin, she was sobbing and endlessly cursing him out. You're terrible. Did you really have to say all those awful things? Couldn't you have been just a little bit gentler? You wouldn't even listen to a single word I said. Right at that moment, a car came speeding towards her, crashing straight into her. That afternoon at the cram school, the teacher brought in some food. Today's snack is hamburgers. Everyone grab one. As soon as she saw the burgers, she got excited. Hamburgers. I hope it's the shrimp one. Seo Jiho, can I eat your portion? You said you weren't hungry earlier, right? Jiho wasn't having it. What? Hey, don't you dare touch my burger. His eyes suddenly followed Hajin, watching him walk away. At this point, he had reached the stairs, filled with gloom after receiving the terrible news. Jiahi got into a car accident, and it's all your fault. The image of Jiahi's blood-stained face flashed in his mind, making him feel worse by the second. Just then, Jiho found him. So you're here, I'm Seo Jiho from your class. They ordered exactly enough hamburgers for everyone. Aren't you gonna eat? Hajin shot him down immediately. I'm not eating. Give it to someone else. Hearing this, Jiho just nodded. Got it. He was about to leave, but suddenly turned back and plopped down right next to Hajin, leaving him completely baffled. What do you want? Jiho hesitated before explaining. Well, I just figured if we don't talk now, we probably never will. But Hajin was in no mood to chat. Is that so? At least you're self-aware. But why on earth would I want to talk to you? Unbelievable. Wherever Hajin went, Jiho followed right behind him. It annoyed him to no end, so he turned around and snapped. Why do you keep following me? Jiho shot back immediately. Do you own these stairs or something I can walk here too? It's none of your business. Hajin was completely speechless at that. Even so, Jiho kept tailing him relentlessly, making Hajin's frustration boil over. He suddenly remembered the nurse and the look in her eyes and turned to warn him. Hey, knock it off. Getting involved with me is only going to get you hurt. Saying that, Hajin rolled up his sleeve, showing Jiho the glaring scars on his arm. Look at this. Hang around me and you'll end up just like this. You could get into a car accident or have something drop right on your head from out of nowhere. One way or another, you're going to get hurt. Jiho stared at the scars as Hajin continued. And the worst part is, I wouldn't be able to do anything to help you. So just stay away from me. With those words, John Hajin walked straight away. Hearing this, Jiho was still trying to process what just happened. Seriously, John Hajin, are you? Going through some edgy teen phase or something? Wait a minute, but what about those scars? Those definitely didn't look like a joke. The scarring was pretty severe. I wonder if he even got proper treatment for them. Ever since that day, John Hajin started openly avoiding me. Even when Jiho tried to approach him, the next day was exactly the same. And the day after that, too. Whatever, it's not like we're friends anyway. It's best if I just leave him alone. Go ahead and live your whole miserable life all by yourself. John Hajin isn't the type to go begging for anyone's help. So just stay alone, Jin Hajin. But then he had second thoughts. A look of firm determination flashed in his eyes. The next day, right after school, on his way home, Hajin heard a strange noise. What was it? The moment he looked back, he was completely shocked. He immediately bolted as fast as he could. But Jiho was dead set on chasing him down. Hey, you better stop right there. Jian Ha Jin.